Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast. I'm your host for today. I'm Joe Garcia. Mike Jimenez is MIA today. He's busy. He had work, so he couldn't do the show. We are going to be joined by the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the one and only Fernandez. What's up, my brother?
What's up, big dog? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You're over here joining us from Cali, dude. I know you're sipping on some mimosas, enjoying the day.
Oh, you know what it is? Hey, it's Friday, like Mark Cavassa says, and we don't give a damn.
Yeah, we don't give a damn today. And thank you for everybody who's joining us right now. We're getting started at right around a little after 10, So we're joining you from the beautiful west side of San Antonio, Puro Exit 7, here representing in the house. Jesse A. I'll be in Space City, Mike's neighborhood tomorrow for the Chargers versus Texans. Puro Charger Power. We're going to go ahead and start getting right into this, man. We're going to talk about Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame went ahead and beat Penn State yesterday. I got to say, man, this was a thriller, dude. In the beginning, you thought, all right, Penn State might go ahead and get the upset here. They were up early, in the second quarter, 10-0. And then, Notre Dame went ahead and made a field goal, made it interesting, 10-3 at the half. And what happened, man? Notre Dame came back, roaring back, bro. Came back in the third, scored a touchdown. And then in the fourth quarter, outscored Penn State 14-17. Final score. Notre Dame is moving on 27-24 in a thriller, man. What did you think about this one?
Oh man, it was a great game. I was at Dave and Buster's with my son last night, watching the game, having some drinks, and yeah, it was a dogfight. It was a dogfight. It reminded me of just old school smash mouth football. You got Penn State, Notre Dame. Teams that really hadn't been in the big show, in a while, right? So, lately, over the years, it's been Bama, Clemson, those kind of teams. So this is like an old school knockdown, drag out. And yeah, man, hey, Fighting Irish, man, you got to give it to them. They pulled it out in the dogfight.
Yeah, man. The thing is with the Fighting Irish here, Notre Dame heading to the CFP National Championship game for the first time in 12 years, man.
Wow.
It's been some time since they've been there. So congratulations to Notre Dame moving on there. And, putting things in context, dude. And like this is something to make you think, right? Marcus Freeman, head coach of Notre Dame. He's going to be the first black head coach ever to coach a national championship game at the FBS level. How about that, man? We're all for inclusion here.
Yeah.
But this is something that's kind of eye-opening to you. Now, I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying inclusion is everything. And it's kind of, these things make you think like, all right, this is the first black head coach ever to coach a championship game at the FBS level, dude. That's something, man. Making history.
Yeah, that's wild, man, to think that. I never, it didn't even dawn on me that there had never been a black head coach, to coach in the national championship game. Yeah, I mean, it's just it just shows you, where we still are as a country. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not trying to get too deep in all that, but I'm just saying, like, it's the facts are facts, and it's wild that he is the first black head coach. But hey, good on him, man. Good on him breaking those barriers, man. I mean, it's tough enough just to be a black head coach in any sports, right? I mean, you have the Rooney Rule in NFL that they had to implement to force teams to interview black head coaches. Like, it's sad that you have to do that, right? You have to implement that kind of rule. But yeah, when you look at minorities in general, I mean, it just again, it just goes to where we still are in this country sometimes, and how hard it is to have to battle when you come from a certain demographic or economic stature. And it's not just color of your skin, it's economics, right? Like, you grew up poor, you grew up in a certain and out in the middle of nowhere, right? It's hard to scratch and claw your way to get to certain places in life, so good on him, man.
Yeah, we need more black and brown representation, so that's all I'm saying. And the other thing is, look at his accolades, man. Marcus Freeman, man, he's elevated Notre Dame, as it says here in this tweet that I put out, or I retweeted out here on the X. Marcus Freeman in year 1, he had the Fighting Irish at 9-4. Year 2, had a 10-3 record. Year 3, national final appearance, 14-1. I mean, I mean, he's doing it, man. He's
Yeah.
doing it.
Well, and that's the thing. Whenever you start talking about, you know, inclusion and different kind of hires, people kind of tend to say like, oh well, you got hired because of like a affirmative action or whatever you want to call it. I know there's no longer affirmative action, but point I'm trying to make is this guy has the accolades. Damn the color of his skin. You know what I'm saying? The dude has the credentials. The dude has been there, man. So it just goes to show, you know what I mean, that sometimes, you just got to give people chances. And good on him, man. I think that's awesome. But yeah, I didn't realize that we had not had a black head coach.
For real, dude.
I really didn't. It didn't dawn on me. But yeah, good on him.
Yeah.
Our guy, real quick. What is that? Studio C Mat or Studio C Mat? I guess.
Studio C Cat.
Studio C Cat.
Yeah, Studio C Mat. Should I say?
Yeah. He said, if the Horns lose by more than 14, you got to post a pic wearing Ohio State jersey. I'll take that bet.
I know you
take that bet. I'll take that bet. And matter of fact, my neighbor is a big Ohio State fan. I was going to say I have no Ohio State stuff, but my neighbor is a big Ohio State fan. So I guarantee you I could get one of his jerseys and wear it. If they lose more than 14, I will do that. But Studio Matt, I want to know what you're going to do if the Horns win. You got to rock. I got to see you in a Horns jersey, baby. I'm down. I'm down for that bet.
Yeah. And also this is the way the college football bracket looks right now. We have Notre Dame moving on here. They're going to be playing Penn State here. I mean, should I say Notre Dame is moving on here, and you also have the Longhorns going against Ohio State. That's going to be the Cotton Bowl. That's going to be the big game right now.
Yeah.
So that game's happening tonight, actually.
Yep.
So,
hey, man, I like this college bracket, man. I really do, man. I love that they opened it up. And because I was talking to my son about this yesterday. So all 4 top teams went down, right, in the playoff. Back in the day, they would have just given those 4 teams the top seed, and then they play, you know what I mean, for the title or whatever. It just shows you, right, that those 4 top teams all went down this year. And it gives a chance for, look at the 5, 8, 6, 7 seeds, you know what I mean, that are in there. So I love it, man. And of course, I love that Texas is getting there. It's crazy because, again, I'm a UT alum, right? I went to the University of Texas through the Naval ROTC program when I was on active duty in military, right? And I commissioned through the Navy Marine ROTC at the University of Texas. So I'm a Texas guy, bro. I'm not just, I'm just saying. But they've been hobbling to these games. You know what I mean? They've been barely winning. And I will say Ohio State's on a roll. Ohio State was they murdered Oregon. Ohio State is on a roll and they have the momentum and they're favored. I think they're like a 5.5 point favorite or something. So I don't know. It's either Texas is like now they're bound to start playing the way they are supposed to play, or it's like Cinderella ran out. You know what I mean? And so we'll see. It's gonna be a good game. I thought about maybe going out to like Buffalo Wild Wings or something, watching. I don't know. I might just watch it here at the crib, but I'm excited, man. There's a with the Fighting Irish, there's a Spurs tie. Blake Wesley is a Notre Dame Fighting Irish, so I'm sure he's hyped.
Yeah. So we also got to talk about the Longhorns and their game that's happening tonight. Longhorns are going to be playing against the Buckeyes, number 3, and going up against number 6. Man, the Buckeyes here favored, man. They're favored by 6 points tonight. You have a lot of the national media saying that, man, this is going to be a tough one for the Longhorns. That they're going to have trouble with Ohio State's defense, that they're going to be able to go ahead and kind of stifle what the Longhorns are going to do. Could be Ewer's last game as a Longhorn, arguably, unless he goes ahead and gets a better NIL deal, NIL deal. So there's rumors about, that other schools are going to be offering him more if he does stick around, rumored to be offered somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe, what is it, $6 million or something like that. If he stays, he could be making some big bank. But we'll go ahead and see what he decides to do. I think really he's going to wind up moving on. He might go ahead and enter his name into the NFL draft. That's what's been rumored to be happening. And Arch Manning is going to go ahead and pick up the reins after he leaves, So we'll see, man. A lot of decisions still to be had here. But if you want to go ahead and see this game, I'm going to go ahead and show you right here. This is where you can see it. You can see it on ESPN for free. Of course, it's on the other streaming services such as Fubo, Sling TV, and YouTube as well. But if you know, man, if you don't want to pay for that, you know where to go. You know where to go. So that's all I got to say about that, man. But I know you got the Longhorns favorite tonight.
I'm excited, bro. like you said, there's a lot of subplots. The Quinn Ewers thing is interesting. Like Jesse A just said, Georgia lost their QB1. That dude entered the transfer portal. So here's the thing. So Ewers has a year left of eligibility, right? Or he could go to the NFL. But Arch is there, man. You can't. I don't think you can. You can't. I love Ewers, man, but you can't sit Arch another year, and bring Ewers, because then Arch might say, you know what, I'm out. Like I can't keep doing this. So what you don't want to do is lose Arch for the next 3 years. You know what I mean? So Ewers did his thing. A Cinderella storybook ending would be that he walks off with the natty, and then either goes on a transfer portal for a year somewhere else, or just joins the NFL draft. I think he might go through the portal, kind of like the Georgia quarterback, and go somewhere else. But I mean, it'd be nice if he just entered the NFL after winning the natty. But I just don't think he'll be in Texas next year, one way or another. Arch is there, man. Arch is primed. But yeah, I mean, tonight's gonna be a great game tonight, man. Like I think, like I said, Ohio State is a tough team, man. They're favored. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas goes down to Ohio State. I wouldn't at all. They're on a roll. And I think college football is especially college football, but most sports are all about momentum and are all about, pace. And those teams that had those buys and those time off, I feel like that hurt them. And Ohio State has been rolling. So Texas can't get punched in the mouth early. You know what I mean? They can't go down early. They can't, the kicker can't be missing, kicks, and they can't be in this like struggle of like trying to come back, because I think Ohio State will just put the foot on their throats. Texas has to stay with them. Defense has to show up. Both defenses are top notch. Both defenses are top notch. So it's gonna be great, man. I'm excited. I'm excited that Texas is back, in the big show. So Texas and Notre Dame natty would be everything, bro. That would be everything. But definitely can't look past Ohio State. I'm gonna be drinking, watching the game, being excited, bro, tonight. So it's early here in Cali. It's like at 4:30 here, which is crazy. Like, that's one thing I will say about being out in Cali is like everything is so early out here, because it's 7:30 Eastern time, so it's 4:30 here, 6:30 you guys' time. But yeah, man, I'm excited.
Hey, they're asking, Mario Cavazos is saying, hey, Rick, are you experiencing some of the smoke from the wildfires where you're at?
You know what, man? So I'm down in San Diego, actually a little bit north of San Diego Oceanside. Not too much, but I've driven up a little bit more north for my son's games or different things, and you definitely can see some of those smokes and stuff, man. And man, prayers out to those folks out there in LA and SoCal area with those wildfires, man. It's devastating. If you ever see those pictures, man, like I swear, man, like it looks like Fallujah in 2004. Like everything burnt down, man. Everything is just it's sad, man. People lose their homes. People lose their irreplaceables. I think about like, most people probably have like, it's like fire insurance, flood insurance, or those things, and some people are like, oh well, it's out in LA, it's out in Hollywood, they're like celebs or they're rich, and it's still, man, it's a tragedy, man. It's still devastating. And one thing you can't get back is like those like family photos. That's the stuff I worry about, right? Let's say your house burns down and possessions, man, you can, if you have good insurance, like you'll get paid back, right, for all that, right? But what about those like family photos that like you can never get back? You know what I mean? What about those like your abuelita made you a blanket when for your kid or something, and that gets, you know what I mean? Like those are irreplaceable things that no money can ever give you back. So prayers out to those folks out there, man.
Yeah. So when we're talking about wildfires, I'm going to talk about it a little later on, but I guess we could just go ahead and do it now. Let's go ahead and talk about some San Antonio Spurs basketball, man. And the Spurs, they have back-to-back scheduled starting tomorrow against the Lakers. Late tip over there in Cali, it's right around 7:30 when this game tips off.
Yeah.
So Lakers Spurs, that's scheduled for 9:30 p.m. tomorrow as far as the tip time goes. Same thing is going to happen on Monday. They're scheduled to go ahead and play the Lakers again at 9:30. These games tentatively are still scheduled to go on. I know that the league has went ahead and canceled the Lakers' prior game. I think that one was against the Kings or something like that. Charlotte, yeah, they canceled that game because of the wildfires going on. We're going to see right now if the league is still going to let these games continue, or are they going to reschedule one or both games. The Spurs are in LA right now. So we haven't heard anything yet, but at this point in time, the games are still scheduled to go on. But since we're talking about the Spurs, I was going to go ahead and put this stat up because I know you like talking about the goofies that said CP3. And I remember one, Michael Jimenez said the Spurs signing CP3 was an indication that they were punting this season. You know, hasn't looked that way. You know, Spurs have played a lot better than the prior season with both Harrison Barnes and CP3 at the helm. And this is a stat that I got off of Spurs Muse on the X. He put out here the only players with 15 plus assists and 15 plus rebounds and clutch time this season: Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic. And Chris Paul's doing this, man. This brother's already going to be 40 years old, dude. You know, I mean,
yeah,
come on, dude.
To be in a conversation with Joker and Jason Tatum at 39 years young, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, man. Real quick, just kind of going back, I'm interested to see if they do play those games or not, or if they move them to a different side or what happens, because the Spurs did fly into LAX, and they're here in LA or here in Cali. I'm actually surprised that they even came out, you know, so I don't know what they're going to do. I know the NFL has already had a backup plan for the Rams playoff game on Monday. If they don't go in LA, they're going to move it to Phoenix. That's kind of been put out there. So, hey, I would love for them to come to San Diego. We got an arena, bro. We got a small arena here in San Diego, man. Like if the Lakers and the Spurs would come down to San Diego, man, that'd be awesome. Actually, my sons and I usually go to the Lakers Spurs games whenever they come every year. And we were gonna go, and we were looking at tickets, but when all this wildfire stuff popped off, I kind of told my sons, like, man, let's hold off, because we don't know how it's gonna go down. You know what I mean? So, so normally I would have made my way out to the crypto and watch the Spurs play the Lakers. But even if the games do go, I don't think I'll go, just because like I want to stay as far away from the LA area as I can.
And all that.
Not only the smoke and the fires, and not only that, man, it's a madhouse. Like there's people abandoning cars in the middle of those highways and stuff. And what last thing I want to do is get stuck out there. You know what I mean? Like I would hate to get out there. You never know, bro. They shut down the 5 or something, and so. In these times, man, being out this way, and luckily my family and I are safe. Like I said, I'm down in San Diego, about 90 miles south of LA. But it's like I'd rather stay safe and stay close to home. You know what I mean? Because going out that way is just, you kind of ask. You don't really need to. If you don't need to go, don't go, kind of thing. You know what I mean? If you don't need to go up that way, there's no reason to.
Hey, and both of us have government jobs, dude. So they don't want to hear.
Oh yeah.
You still gotta work.
Oh, exactly, bro. They don't want to hear none of that, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, man,
coming in.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, Chris Paul, man, you know what did he hit like 5 threes the other day, and I know it was in a losing effort. And you know, the Spurs have their own woes, and we know that, and we could discuss that later. But Chris Paul just himself, like, yeah, Jimenez, he called himself, what did he what did he say, the Nostradamus or whatever he called himself? Man, he got that one totally wrong. He straight up was like, yeah, and not only him, a lot of people said it. When Chris Paul got signed, I remember people being like, oh, he ain't even gonna play. Like he's gonna be on the bench. Like, what is he gonna do? Like they're punting the season, this and that, and like, man, how wrong could people have been? You know, Chris Paul, I mean, the dude's a legend. As long as he's healthy, he's gonna impact the team. He's never gone anywhere and not improved a team. He's never gone anywhere and not impacted the team. And it's funny because I mean, we all hated Chris Paul. I know I did. I hated him from the Hornets days. You know, back when he was with the Hornets. Remember they took the Spurs to 7 games that year. So
he looked better than Tony Parker too during that series.
Oh, bro, I hated him from the Hornets to the Clippers to when he was about to be a Laker, and then that got vetoed, and then Rockets. Like, oh, I mean, I've always hated that dude, man. And you know, I went to some of the games, and I've kind of seen him up close, and I kind of told him, I was like, hey, bro, we all hated you, bro, but you know what? We love you now, man. You got the right gear on, you know, and he just kind of smiles, you know, so he knows. And he even said it one time, and I respect it. He goes, hey, the feeling's mutual. He said, y'all hated me, I hated y'all. You know what I mean? I respect that, you know. But
we have a new viewer coming in here, Dark Lumen from YouTube. And he's saying, wait, is this live? It is live, man. We're live.
Every day, baby. Every day. Welcome, Dark. Every day.
Yeah, man. And everybody's saying, you know, of course it's live and this and that, but I appreciate everybody.
Yeah, man. New viewer, man. Appreciate you coming through. And I think that's what it is too. Is you know, a lot of these, you know, and no shade to no other podcasts out there or other show. They're all doing great things, but yeah, coming out live is it's raw, right? It's like for our wrestling fans, it's like that Monday Night Raw, baby. Like anything can happen on live, a stream. So, you could pre-record things and then it could get kind of chopped up and whatnot. But hey, Area 210 with Joe and Mike, hey, that's always live, man. I'm blessed and lucky enough to come out here once in a great while. But y'all do great things, man. And the folks in the chat are the ones that keep it going.
Drive the show, man. Yeah, so this is the thing. This is the state of things right now, man. This is funny to me because me and Mike talked about this, and the Spurs, they've been kind of lackluster as of late. Dust is starting to settle. The lineups aren't what they used to be.
Mhm.
Mitch Johnson kind of looks like he's in flux. Team looks a little lost right now. Things just aren't flowing right now for Spurs and Spurs fans. And look at what Big Tex in 52 says on the X. I'm not taking this team seriously until they join this group. It says, have you won 5 games in a row this decade? Yes, of course. 5 years. Man, even the Detroit Pistons won 5 games, man. Spurs, they ain't put it together, brother. They ain't won 5 games in a row. And it's been a while. It's been a long while. Yeah. And what do you think that is? What do you think attributes to that, man?
Man, and it's tough, man. And, again, I think people, I say this and people get upset because they think that I'm being a homer, but like a lot of us thought they'd be where they're at right now. So I just really don't get a lot of the fake rage or whatever, because if we really thought this is where they were going to be, then you pretty much predicted that they were going to be where they're at right now. I got it. There's the Bulls game. That's inexcusable. I mean, there's winnable games like the Bucks. It's a hard sell to try to beat the Bucks. I mean, you know what I mean? They're a top-notch team, right? I'm not saying that you can't go out there and beat them, because the Spurs have beat top-notch teams. When they're clicking, they're clicking. But you got to win the games that are that you're supposed to, like the Bulls game, right? They had that in the bag. They were up. There was no excuse for that. I love Mitch. I remember, again, Jimenez on here saying that he was better than Pop already. They were singing the praises of Mitch, right? And it's not so much it's people like it's even like with Texas and Cowboys or similar, where I always say, like, there's people who hate those teams more than they like their own team. So it's almost like it's almost like people wanted Pop gone so bad that they were already like, oh, Mitch is, you know what I mean? Like, so, and it's not even Mitch's fault, but I'm just saying, like, your hatred for like Pop, or you're wanting him to be gone, like, and all that, and prayers to him, right? I hope he's doing well. But folks who, like, before the stroke, like, were like, fuck Pop, and we don't want Pop no more, and he's washed and he's done and he's whatever. They just want to be so right. So when Mitch came along, and he did do well, right? In the beginning, he was doing really, everybody was like, oh my God, he's so different. He's doing different things. Like, Mitch is like gonna, change this team and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, now he's just kind of, and now those same people are like, turned on Mitch. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just crazy to me. Like, again, man, I know people talk about, I'm not here to tell anyone how to fan or not how to fan or all this crap. Like, it's funny, right? But it's just wild to me how people are just so, knee-jerk reaction. Like,
you're enamored with hating somebody. They have to have a
right. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you hate somebody, your hatred for that person or that player or whatever, or that take that you made or whatever, is gonna drive everything. So you're gonna keep trying to show how you're right. You know what I mean? So with Mitch, he's a young coach, man. He's a good guy. I mean, smart dude. Stanford grad. I mean, the dude's I think he's a great basketball mind and all that. But to sit here and say, like, oh, he's better than Pop and he's gonna, do things different or this, that, and oh, look how he goes out there and meets them in the court and does this, like, okay, like, that's fine. Like, nothing on him. Like, great. Mitch isn't ever like, I don't think Mitch is the one that's trying to drive this, like, oh, I'm better than Pop, or I'm gonna do, it's just fans just didn't want Pop so bad that they would have, you or I could have took over for Pop and they would have been happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just want anything else. It's like you're never satisfied with what you have. You want anything else. And then when you do get that you thought you wanted, you're not satisfied with that either, and you're upset about that, So you never have what you want.
Look at Sam. He says Mike no-showed. No, Mike was busy today. He let us know yesterday, actually, that he was going to be not being able to make the show today because he's busy working. And that's why we went ahead and got our good boy here, Fernandez, Rick, to go ahead and step in his place.
Yeah. Sam Selena said, "Rick, if you took over, we'd be undefeated." You know what's funny? My son's basketball team. One of the parents on my son's basketball team, they hate our coach, because they have a pop thing with him, right? They're like, he's old school, man. And they're like, man, that dude's washed. And one of the parents on my son's team was like, you should take over the coach. You should go coach our high school team, man. Get out there, But no, I appreciate that, Sam Salinas. I think it was some Jason Garcia said it's not Mitch. Pop is the one putting the string behind the scenes. Could be. I mean, I don't. And here's another thing, man. And like people do this on Twitter or the X and whatever, where they talk in absolutes about I know for a fact this and that. Maybe I don't rule anything out. I don't rule anything out. I don't think Pop is pulling the strings, as in like everything he's doing is all Pop. Pop is in his ear, I'm sure. I mean, he even said that they talk, and I mean, he's a Pop assistant, right? He came from a Pop's school, so I think they think there's a lot of like-minded thinking, and that's expected when you are a disciple of a great coach like Pop. So you do see some Pops in Mitch. You see him doing his own thing also. He's a young dude. I just think it was too fast to anoint him and crown him in the very beginning when everybody was like, "Oh my God!" and Jimenez was the leader of the goofies. The head goofy. Mitch is better than Pop already. Mitch is.
You're saying that Mike was the payaso.
Yeah. Mike was the lead payaso, right? And again, and John Dyer talks about this. Our good friend John Dyer. He calls it the what does he call it? The Spurs new toy syndrome or something like that. Where basically when there's a new player or all that, everyone's enamored, because that's how it was when Sohan first came on board. Everybody loved him, and now they hate him. When Devin first came on board, everybody loved him, they hate him. They were like, why isn't Devin getting minutes over whoever, right? And why isn't Keldon getting minutes over whoever? And I wish we could go back. Like we should like go back and look at tweets like when Devin was a rookie and people were like, oh my God, he's the future. Like, why aren't you playing him? Blah, blah, blah. Like he's going to save everybody. And then those same people are probably like, yeah, F Devin and trade him, and all that. It's just such a like knee-jerk reaction. I don't think you can go emotional one way or the other. You can't be like too enamored with the team and love them all and don't want to trade any of them. But you also can't be on the other end of the spectrum and like fuck everybody and just trade everybody and everybody's garbage. Like there's got to be somewhere in the middle, man. Like that's all I always say, our guy Matt Gomez, he's always talking SAFC, and he's bringing
that's what he was talking about. Him and Matt Gomez, talking SAFC. Yeah, we always love you guys bringing the.
They're doing a whole revamp, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure Matt Gomez and Sam Salinas can give us more insight into that. But the SAFCs, I believe they're like their 10-year anniversary of the league or something like that. So they're doing they're revamping everything. Like they're revamping
$1 million in upgrades they're going to wind up doing over there at Toyota Stadium. Yeah. New board and everything. We'll see. I mean, if you see the stadium, it was never finished. You can see the pillars that are there because they were going to add another level, but it never happened, never transpired. That's why you see these pillars, metal pillars, when you go out there. The metal beams, the steel beams up there erected. But one of the things we're going to talk about here too is Spurs fans always looking for someone to blame. They want to blame Sohan. They want to blame other players out there on the court. But at the end of the day, even if you inserted a new coach, I think the problem is always going to be the disparity of talent that you have on this team. Because currently, as constructed, this team is showing you this is about as good as they're going to get. It doesn't matter what coach you bring in; they can only work with the tools that they're given. Right. Yeah. So right now, you're looking at the Spurs kind of reaching their ceiling with the current roster as it's currently constructed. The only way that this team is going to get better is that you have to have a better quality of talent to surround one Victor Wembanyama. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and look at what's been happening with Stephon Castle. He slid down the rookie ladder. He was all the way up there. I think he was at number 1 at one point. Then he slid down to number 2. Now he slid all the way down to number 5. And this is because of a reduction of minutes and him not looking as great, given the time that he's been put out there in the court now. He looked better in the starting lineup, quite honestly, when he was in the starting lineup with some of the other players that they had, due to injury when they didn't have Jeremy Sohan, they didn't have Vassell, and then they brought Jeremy Sohan and Vassell back. They still had him coming off the bench. That starting unit with Champagne, that they had Stephon Castle, CP3, Harrison Barnes, and then Wemby. that was probably your best starting unit that you had out there that was getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they got away from it. I know that you have players returning back from injury, but given all that, given the minutes that Stephon Castle has now coming off the bench, playing behind one Trey Jones, it's no wonder that he slipped down the rookie ladder. His production isn't quite what it used to be, and that's because of reduction of minutes. I would like to see the kid get more play, but again, that's on the coaching staff.
Yeah, I love Steph Castle, man. I love the kid. He has a smart basketball IQ. You see him out there doing things. You see him out there like court vision. But again, man, it's like this is probably not a great comparison. But again, it's like a really good rookie quarterback, you know, and you get thrown into a team and you get beat up. You know what I mean? You get beat up because that team is probably not that good. That's why they got the number one the number one pick or whatnot. So, you know, having Castle be out there and just throw him out there and be like, you know what, it's yours, do it, do your thing, and then he doesn't pan out, you know, or things don't go his way, it could shatter, you know, his confidence and all that. I don't know. There's just a lot of nuances, man. I you know, people are just so quick, right, to be like, oh, just you know, put him out there and that's it, you know, or oh, you know, when Jeremy's on the court, Wemby doesn't do good, like that's the only factor, and that's not true. There's so many different nuances and factors that go on there, right? So I like Castle, man. I think he feels like he should be a starter, as he should, you know, because when he was on the starting lineup, he was balling. He was doing his thing. Maybe him going to the bench kind of messed with him a little bit. And so, yeah, man, Castle sliding down doesn't surprise me. There's still time, though, you know. I mean, there was a time where he wasn't even on the rookie ladder, and then there was a time when he was 1, and now he's 5. Like, that's another thing. I got a bunch of tweets at me when I was saying, like, you know, in the beginning of the year, people were like, oh, there's no way that the Spurs would let Stephon Castle, you know, even be in the conversations of rookie of the year. They're not going to allow it. They're not going to play him and all this kind of stuff. And then when he was number 1, you know, I put something out there, and of course people are ready. As soon as he went to 5, I got all these tweets like, oh, what about this? What about this? And I'm like, well, you know, it's a game of runs, man. We don't know. What if it's, you know, a few weeks from now, Castle's back up there if he's playing well. So, I mean, you know, it wasn't over when he was number 1. It's not over when he's 5. You know what I mean? We got to let it ride out, right? And it's also other, you know, the enemy always has the option, or enemy has a say. The other players, rookies, are playing well too. You know what I mean? The other rookies are playing well. I mean, they're on teams that are on a different situation where maybe they're starting or whatnot. So we'll see. You know, all you can do is let it play out, man. But you know, even sometimes when he's out there, though, Castle's I saw people bagging on him already. Oh, he's throwing up too many shots, or he's doing this, he's doing that. His offensive game isn't where it should be. You know, we all know his defensive prowess.
Look at Becky Jr. He says, Castle will even be good. He goes, him and Wemby are the only untouchables at this point. Everyone else can get the F out of here. Better for a better player. Goes,
I mean, yeah, I mean, we could talk about that because my sons and I were talking about that last night, actually, too. Even when I got back from Dave and Buster's, man, I tweeted out that we were watching.
Rick, I'm going to ask you a question, man. We're going to talk about this. Opinion on Devin Vassell, man. Has he reached his peak?
I think so. I think so. And I love Devin, man. I really do, man. But I think we know the injuries don't help. You know what I mean? And I know people have called him injury prone.
He's overdue right now, dude. You know he's going to pull up lame sooner or later this season.
Yeah. I mean, I would say he's been pretty disappointing, you know, because like when you look at Keldon, right? Like Keldon had a pretty good game the other day when they lost. Keldon, I think most people already know what he is. You kind of don't expect much more from Keldon. So when he does play well, it's like, oh, hell yeah, you know. Whereas Devin, we expected more. We expected more of a ceiling. So he's been underwhelming, right, and underperforming lately, right? I like Devin. He's not a Robin, man. He's not a second guy. Like, I mean, and everyone says I'm too positive or I'm a homer. I'm being honest. Devin is not our second option, man. If Devin's going to be our second option, we're in some trouble. Maybe a third or fourth option, sure. But he's just not consistent enough, man, right? Like when he's hot and he's on and everything's, you know, I feel like his defense has been kind of stepping up a little bit, but he's not this like, oh my God, we can't move from him,
It's not that powerful 1-2 punch,
Yeah. I mean, and maybe the injuries are nagging him. I don't know what it is, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but he hasn't performed, to the level that we all thought he would by this time in his career. We thought he would be the number 2 guy after Wemby, and or some of us did, and he's not. So, again, instead of staying with your take and trying to be right, it's okay to just be like, damn, yeah, I thought he was going to be our number 2 guy. He's not. It is what it is. Move on. He's underperforming. He's underwhelming right now, unfortunately, and it could be due to injuries. But he's not. We need him to be like, if Wemby is having an off game, then he needs to be the one that's like on fire. You know what I mean? Like Wemby can only do so much, man. Like when we know Wemby's just amazing, generational talent. He's gonna have off nights. He's gonna have an off night where he had only 10 points and 10. He had a double, right? It was like 10 points and but he still had quote unquote an off night. Wemby's off nights are like him scoring 15 and 10 or whatever. Somebody else has to step up, and Devin ain't doing it. Keldon was doing it.
I gotta say something though, Rick. I think having Wemby be the superstar of the Spurs right now, and just him being out there with a bunch of dudes, is detrimental to not only his growth as a player, but also from a mental perspective. Because he's going to get used to the losing, and that's not one thing that you want to happen to your star player. You want him to elevate his game. You want him to go ahead and aspire to something better, and at least say, you know what, we can do this next year with the team that we have right now. With the team that we have right now and Wemby, it ain't gonna happen, man. And at some point, you got to move on from him. You got to move on from Vassell. You got to move on from some of these lesser players. Go ahead and package them up, trade them, get somebody else like Darion Fox. He's available right now. Brian Wright, go do something, man. What are you hanging on to these picks for? Package some of these players, and let's make it happen. Darion Fox is a better version of Devin Vassell right now, and with Wemby getting some help, you have a 1-2 punch. Now you have 2 superstars on this team, and you can actually contend, because if Wemby's having an off night, then you can go and rely on Fox to go ahead and, hey, man, I'm going to have a 40-point night.
Right.
We're going to have 15 points, but we're still, boom, boom, we're going to go 1-2. We're going to be able to make it happen. Because what happens now is that the focal point is on Wemby, just like the Bucks did. They went ahead and put all their focus on Wemby because they're like, if we take him out of the game, we cut the head off the snake, the rest of the team's going to fold. And sure enough, that happened. They're going to go ahead and get very physical with Wemby. They're going to body him and make him a non-factor because they know the rest of the team just can't shoot the ball, man. At the end of the day, this team needs bucket getters. They don't have any. They just have a bunch of dudes.
You're right, bro. You're right. And that's what it is. Unfortunately, that's the state of the Spurs right now. And like you said, all those picks, players, packaging, you can do something, man. You can make a move for a big time player. And you got to do something. And I again, man, I love this team and I love my squad, but I'm more enamored with the name on the front of the jersey than the back of the jersey. I've always been. So other than Wemby, I don't think anyone's untouchable or untradeable, all that kind of stuff. I really don't. I think the sticking point though for Fox, sorry, I think the sticking point would be the Kings might want Castle for that. I don't know. I don't know. And that would be we were talking about that yesterday, actually, and my son said that. He said, I think the Kings would want Castle in a trade. I mean, that's a tough one. If a win would be to bring Fox with keeping Castle. But anyone else, man, Devin, Keldon, Jeremy, I love those guys. But if you can bring in an all-star, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to keep, like you said, you got to keep Wemby happy. I don't know if he'll get used to losing, but I think he'll just get frustrated. I mean, the dude's smart, man. The dude, he's multifaceted, right? Like just in general in his life. And I mean, he's only 21. I mean, he's a young kid, but I think he'll get frustrated and upset and if something doesn't change, right? Because he hates to lose, man. He's not, on every stage of his life, man. Even taking that France team, to the gold medal match, I mean, the dude's a winner, man, in every facet of his life, right? So, I I know people talk about like, oh, Wemby's going to want to leave after a while and go to bigger markets, LA and New York or something crazy. I think he's loyal, and he would stay as long as like he sees that they are trying
I
to
like
make
Jesse's A comment. He thinks like Leha, F them picks, dude. What if these picks don't convey?
Trade the. That's what I'm saying. Trade the picks, man. Like put them, package them up with a Keldon, with a Zach, with a Devin, even a Jeremy if need be, for an all-star. I love Devin and I love Jeremy and Keldon and those guys, but they're not all-stars, bro. They're not. They're just not. And somebody said it. I think it was Mexican Junior that said, yeah, Devin's a good fourth option. Yeah, absolutely. As a second option, he's not it. Devin as a fourth option, Jeremy as a fifth option would be great. But having them as your second and third option, it's just not it, bro. And again, I love
they're going to be. This is it.
Yeah. We kind of seen what they are. You know what I mean? And I love, again, man, that's what's funny, man, is like I get accused of being such a homer or this or that. And, bro, I love those guys, but they're not untradeable, man. They're not. I would not shed a tear. Listen, if they got traded, I'll tweet my picture with him and say, hey, man, thank you for everything. I love you guys. Appreciate it. And let's roll, bro.
What happened with fan favorites in the past? Avery Johnson. Gone.
Yeah.
What happened with Sean Elliott? Gone.
George Hill.
Malik Rose,
bro. Like, and we still look back on them fondly. Like, it's not. That's a good point, actually. I love that you said that, because I think younger fans don't remember that. They've been with this core of team players where
Bruce Bowen, they got rid of him, bro.
Right. That's what I'm saying, bro. We got rid of folks, man. We got in that Richard Jefferson trade. They got rid of like Bowen and Alberto and all those people that we love. Those guys. It happens, bro. And again, I'm a Marine, right? So it reminds me of like moving to different duty stations, right? Like I'm at a duty station for like 3 or 4 years. Man, we get tight. We love each other, bro. We talk every day. Like everything's whatever.
Friends and everything.
Bro. I get new orders. I go somewhere else. And not that I'm like F them, but you know what I mean? You go on and you move on. And then I go to a different duty station. And now I got another crew, another team. I still keep in tabs with my old folks. Like, hey, man, how y'all doing? Blah, blah, blah. But it ain't the same. And I've moved on. And as they have, you know what I mean? They get another captain that's taking care of them. I'm no longer their go-to, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, bro. It's here. Neither here nor there. Like Jason Garcia just said, Sean Elliott was traded. He was traded and brought back, so... and I know there's a lot of talk about people getting enamored with players and not wanting people to be traded, and people will move on and get over it, man. Like at the end of the day, man,
what's going to ease the bitter heart right now, Spurs fan, is if you get rid of some of these fan favorites, and all of a sudden this team is worth the damn. And starts
they will forget so quick, bro. They will, bro. They will be like Jeremy who, like if those same people that are like so upset about trading players, if Fox came or like another star or somebody, right, and if the Spurs start winning, bruh, they would just it's like your new girlfriend, bro. You moved on. You thought you couldn't live without the other one, and then you got a new one, and bruh, you're like.
Hey, but this is funny, dude, with the Spurs fans, though. It's funny you say that. You get a new girl, you moved on.
Yeah.
Then Spurs fans get enamored with their ex, right? Because then they look at other players that leave. They look at Derek White. Oh, man.
He's
doing over there. DeJounte Murray. Oh, look at how good he's doing over there.
Right. That's like, bro, that's like going to your ex's wedding and like being happy that like, oh my God, I'm in the front row at my ex's wedding. She's getting married. I never really understood that either. Like, again, man, all praise to Derek White, man. Good on him. I'm glad he won a chip, but I don't feel it's some type of like quasi connection to the Spurs. Like, oh, the Spurs won one because Derek White won one. Like, no, bro. Like, he's a Celtic, bro. Like, he's gone. Like, good on him. I don't hate on him, but I'm also not going to sit here and celebrate and act like somehow we're still tied to Derek White. That's kind of odd to me. Like I said, that's like being in the front row of your ex's wedding. You know what I mean? Like, what are you sitting there, celebrating? I don't get it.
Oh man. The goofies, that's what you call them. The goofies.
Man. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, because it's the goofies, bro. Because it's wild to me. It's wild to me how people just say things to say things. You know what I mean? Like, remember when Wemby was having a little bit of a slump? I saw people turn on Wemby, dog. It was
Wimpy.
crazy.
They were calling him Wimpy, remember?
Yeah. Wimpy, that he was and tries to talk all this nonsense. yeah, and it's crazy to me, bro. It's just, I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't like to speak in absolutes. I don't ever want to say that, hey, this is a fact, or I know this for sure, and whatever the case may be. And it's just, look, bro, we gotta see stuff play out and things change, and you thought something at the beginning of the year. That's why you can't go too far left or right. You know what I mean? Most of us at the beginning of the year were like, hey, look, this team's going to be like a 35-win team, 30-win team, maybe 500. So I guess because that was my expectation and where we're at now, I'm happy with where we're at because that's what I expected. I mean, I thought this is where we were going to be. I think it's silly to expect them to be a sub 500 team and then be upset at where they're at right now.
Yeah,
because that's what you expected. Isn't that what you expected?
Yeah. This is a good comment from Jesse A. He says, at the end of the day, it's Spurs basketball, not Keldon or Jeremy basketball.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. The name in the front is more than the name in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, even Brent Barry got traded away. Yeah, exactly. Tony was visiting Brent Barry's house. Now it's talking
simply the most friendly shit that ever happened in Spurs history, right? Spurs basketball history, bro. You had that shit that came out with Tony, Eva, Brent Barry,
Brent Barry,
Scandal. No, but dude, this was.
Can you imagine if that happened now? Can you imagine if that happened like now with Spurs Twitter? My guy James Molina says Nandez talking about simping on ex-Spurs. Exactly, bro. I like that. I like the way you said it. Yeah.
So why Spur, always a Spur. I'm like, that motherfucker's gone, dude.
Yeah. Why are we simping on ex-Spurs? And again, I'm happy for them. I'm not like, oh, you left the Spurs, like you're dead to me. But I'm also not going to sit here and pretend that it's connected to the Spurs.
Oh man, Spurs fans, those are the goofies, man, that come out and say, "Oh, I'm so happy for Derek White." They're in the NBA Finals. Once a Spur, always a Spur. That's a move right there, man. You can be happy for the brother.
I'm happy for him. But move on, bro. Like I said, bro, it's your ex. You found out your ex is getting married. You know what? I'm happy for you. I'm not gonna be front row in your wedding. You know what I mean? Sitting there, cheering and throwing rice. Like for what? Like why do I care? Tavares makes a good point about we talk about we want to trade, Keldon and Zach or different people. A team needs to want them.
Oh yeah.
Needs to want them, and Tavares is making a good point. Yeah, that's the thing about trades, right? Like we can't sit here and I hate that trade machine thing. I've never done it before. Honestly, I've never done it. I think it's the dumbest thing. Oh look, this trade works in the trade machine. Okay, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, but people put these trades out and think like Tavares is saying, like we think we're gonna trade Keldon and Zach for an all-star. Like, come on, bro. Other teams ain't dumb.
They have to absorb that contract.
Of course.
Collins, dude. I know Chicana Fuerte. That's her papacito, dude. But man.
Exactly, dog. Yeah, we got a super chat. Yeah,
super chat from Mario Cavazos. Appreciate you, Mario Cavazos. One of our most loyal viewers here. Appreciate you, man.
He's day one, bro. He's 100. He's 100.
He put trade for a short, tall, skinny, flaca. Even then, with the big name, Nargas.
Hey,
it's Friday. We don't give a damn. Un grito. All right.
That's that red alert. That's that red alert, baby. That's that red alert.
That's that little, what do you call them? Those little Latinas, dude? 4'11", 5 foot nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But they do bad things, bro.
That's that Johnny Z. That's that Johnny Z. The Johnny Z red alert, baby.
Yeah, man.
Presumir a mis amigos les conté.
The grito every time, man. You pay for the grito, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. No, I tell you, man.
Happy for Kawhi winning that title in Toronto. F that season.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go. Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Like I don't know, bro. Like I said, if a Spur leaves our team and goes and does well somewhere else, I'm happy for you. I'm not gonna hate on you. but I'm not going to sit here and celebrate it, man, and act like it's part of our, like if it's
this,
part
dude.
of our thing, bro.
If
Like I don't.
Kawhi got injured, right? He over there with the Clippers. He didn't even play a damn game yet, dude. They're almost at the halfway mark of the season. He finally decides to show up for work. He comes back. He gets injured, pulls his Achilles or something. You know what Spurs fans are gonna say? Good.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna be like, hey, good.
Good.
Damn about
Good.
Kawhi.
Yeah.
You're gonna raise his jersey. Should it be raised to the rafters? F no, dude.
Yeah. Nah,
He's a
man.
snake, man. Good riddance.
Yeah.
But I bet you anything, he came back to San Antonio, man. Those Spurs fans bringing out the old school Kawhi Leonard jersey. I know y'all motherfuckers didn't throw that shit away.
Yeah, he didn't burn, bro.
Yeah,
He didn't burn it. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I got it. Or my son has a signed Kawhi Leonard jersey. He has a signed Kawhi Leonard jersey when he was part of the squad and all that, and so Kawhi signed my son's jersey, and I still got that. I mean, because hey, bro, that's worth a little penny, you know. So I ain't gonna lie, I ain't burning no signed Kawhi Leonard jersey. I'm just saying, bro, that's me. But yeah, man, it's funny, man. I love everyone talking about DJ Laz and Johnny Z and all those fools in the chat. They're talking about the old school music. Yeah. But yeah, you know, like I said, man, and that just it's and then here's another thing. I think some Spurs fans, because they hate Pop and the front office and all that, that's why they celebrate when a player leaves and does something good, because it's, you know what I'm saying? Because it's almost a validation of, like, you see, like, Derek White left and look how good he's doing. That's why the Spurs suck, you know, or what, you know. So that it has something to do with that. You know what I mean? Like, it has that. Like I said, it's like you hate us more than you like your own team, kind of thing. So they see that the Spurs go do something else to point and say, well, this is why, you know, Pop sucks, and this is why the organization sucks, you know, or whatever. People just want to be right, bro. We live in a culture where you want to, you know, Stephen A. Smith, the hot takes. You want to be right, you know. You want to be loud, you know.
Mario Cavazos, the jersey's autographed, is written number 2. Yo soy caca. You know, I'm going to show this on the screen right now too, because this is something that I saw on the X here. NBA TV, they had put this out on the X, and it says MVP, the Kia MVP ladder right now, currently as it stands. Number 1 is going to be Shai. Number 2, you have Jokic. Number 3, you have Giannis. At number 4, Spurs' very own Victor Wembanyama, and then number 5, Celtics, Jason Tatum. So Victor Wembanyama's in that mix, dude. And also
good company.
Good company. And also when they released the second ballot, or the second, I guess, fan votes for the NBA All-Star game, on the front court, Victor Wembanyama, he was, I believe, number 4. So he still has like a little over 1.8 million votes. So he's getting up there, man. Spurs fans got to keep voting him in. That's
good company, man. Look at, I mean, MVP ladder, bro. I'm you know, to be in that top 5 ahead of Jason Tatum. I mean, that's pretty wild. You know, only players ahead of you is Giannis, Joker, and Shai. I mean, that's great company to be in. Wemby will be an MVP in the next couple of years, bro. I mean, he's already there. He's already, you know, he's second year and he's in the top 5. So, you know, Shai out in OKC is doing great things. Of course, Joker's always the Joker. Giannis is Giannis, man. So having Wemby in that group is great for us, you know. Like you said, we just got to get him help. You know, we got to get him help. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, somebody is putting up here that they went ahead and put that Jeff Garcia had released something about Jeremy Sohan being number 3 when it came to the pick and rolls. So it's like, I'm looking for it right now, seeing if I can go ahead and put that out here. But I did see some news that he put out earlier today too, that former Spur here, Devontae Graham, is reportedly among options for Real Madrid. So,
wow.
You know, 29-year-old point guard Devontae Graham could see some new life over there overseas. So good on you.
Let me tell you something about Devontae Graham, bro. I've met him a couple of times. He is a cool dude, man. Like, real talk, man. Such a fucking cool guy. I met him in Phoenix. We were in the same hotel. And he stopped and chatted with my son about you know, basketball, about being a pro baller or playing in college. Like, I never, you know, like, that's it's crazy, man. Like again, Devontae Graham, he ain't no all-star, he ain't no superstar. He's gonna go play overseas. Again, man, it just shows you how tough it is to make it in that league, right? The levels of this game. He was a Kansas Jayhawk, star in college. But like I said, he's a small dude, man. He ain't big at all, man. He may be 6 foot, maybe. The dude is not big at all. It just shows you how he had to scratch a claw to make the league. But like I said, man, I met him a couple of times, and in Phoenix, man, he literally sat and talked to my son, my 17-year-old son, about ball and about what you need to do to like make it to the next level. And like I always appreciate that, man. Like he didn't have to do that, bro. He could have just stopped, took his pick, moved on. But he stopped, and like I told him, I was like, yeah, my son plays ball. He's in high school, he's getting, looking at colleges right now, and he's like, oh man, like he wanted to chat with him and tell him like tips and things like that, man. So good on Devontae, man. He's a good dude. But like I said, I'm not gonna start cheering for Spain team now because he's over there.
Real Madrid, you're not gonna go.
Hey, good on you, Devontae. Yeah, I'm a Real Madrid Spain fan now because you know.
Look, this is the post that Jeff Garcia had put out on, and it says top 5 pick and rollers, and they're putting number 1, the cat, Karl Anthony Towns. At number 2, you have Jokic. At number 3, there you have Sohan. Number 4, you have Allen from the Cavs, and then you have a bonus at number 5 from the Kings, man.
Yeah,
and that's what they were talking about. I put the graphic up there for everybody to see.
Yeah,
but I mean,
and here again, it goes both ways. We talk about when you like Sohan or whatever, you'll find things to like to weigh your, or things that prove you right or whatever, right? So looking at that and saying, oh, he's a top 3 pick and roller and all that. I mean, honestly, to me, that don't mean much. I mean, I'm just saying, bro, like that don't mean, I mean, sure. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's great. That I don't know how they collected that data or what they did or whatnot. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if you dislike Sohan, we'll use Sohan as an example. I know people hate that Mike, all he does is talk about Sohan, but we can even use Devin. We can use anybody. If you like fill in the blank, you can find data and things to point as to why they are good or whatever. If you don't like X fill in the blank, you can find data or stats or a report or a study to say why they're bad. So, it's just like, it's like politics. Like, it's all bullshit. Like it's all if you're a Republican, you will find data and reasons why to say why it's good to be a Republican. If you're a Democrat, you will find data and reasons and stats and studies that show why it's good to be a Democrat. You see what I'm saying? Like it's all it's out there. There's a lot of information out there, and people just pull to what proves them right and shows that, right? But yeah, man, Sam Salinas said that Jerry Jones is opening contracts with Mike McCarthy today.
So we're going to talk about that.
What? I was telling my son this yesterday. I am not going to be surprised if they don't bring him back, bro. I'm not saying they should. I'm saying, like, with them denying the Bears to talk to Mike McCarthy, to me, that shows that Jerry still wants him. I mean, I don't know.
There's talks about Jerry still wanting to go ahead and, I guess, open the line of communications with Mike, but we'll go ahead and dive into that. But first, we're going to go ahead and give some love to our good friend over here, Jeff Garcia of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Yeah, so make sure you go in and subscribe to the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can go ahead and follow Jeff over at Jeff G Spurs Zone, and we're going to go ahead and show some here what Jeff has cooking for today. Jeff went ahead and started with the story here, and it says the Spurs launched the NBA All-Star Flyaway Sweepstakes, offering fans a chance to win a 2025 NBA All-Star game trip on February 16th. He shows you how you can go ahead and enter. And he also has a new episode of the Locked On Spurs podcast coming out. And he's going to be talking about Stephon Castle as he continues to fall in the NBA rookie ladder with guests at Brady Mills. So make sure you go and check that out, and also subscribe everywhere you can find your podcast on all these platforms. That's where you can find the Locked On Spurs. And also make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel, as he is 5,000 subscribers strong and keeps on climbing. So we love everything that Jeff does. Thank you for always supporting everything we do here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what's been going on here with let's say Mike McCarthy, and Jerry Jones. So this is the latest that we have right here. It says that after several days of discussion about the 2024 season and the future, it appears that Cowboys owner Jerry Jones wants to go ahead and open talks with Mike McCarthy today about a new contract. Let's see where this goes, because they went ahead and denied Mike McCarthy the ability to go ahead and talk with the Chicago Bulls. Jerry said, "Nah, we want you where we have you right here. We're going to go ahead and talk business." I don't know. Good move, bad move by the Cowboys?
I think it's bad. I mean, I don't think McCarthy's like a bad coach, but he's not the right coach for Dallas. And like, this is like the best situation. His contract's up. You know, if you don't want to like, oh, we fired him or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the hell Jared thinks, but his contract's up. Like just, hey man, appreciate you. Your contract's up. Peace. Like, you know what I mean? This is like the perfect way to just let somebody go without, if you don't want to like, you know, fire them or whatever the case may be. So I thought this was going to be a perfect scenario where McCarthy could just walk. And hey, Mario Cavazos, that boxing tweet, we're going to get, or that boxing chat, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. I appreciate you, Mario. But this is like, yeah, it's the best situation, bro. Let him walk. No harm, no foul. Somebody else will pick him up. I guarantee you McCarthy would get a job somewhere else. Chicago, you know, who knows, right? But they need new blood, man. Again, at the end of the day, this goes back to the Jerry, man, and his ego, where he probably likes McCarthy because he's a yes man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's, you know, he liked Garrett, you know, because he was a yes man, dude. He was a company man. He was Troy Aikman's backup. You know what I mean? He, you know, the winners, the Barry Switzers, the Jimmy Johnsons, you know, he hated those guys because they were like, I ain't taking your bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna buck back at you. You know, even Bill Parcells, those type of guys. I think Jerry likes to have a coach that he can kind of have under his thumb, man. And he would not bring in a Dion or someone that's gonna rock of Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel would be an amazing coach for the Cowboys.
And free thinkers on the team, bro.
Yeah. And so I don't know, man. I'll tell you, man. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, man. Joe, as you are. But you know, we grew up in the Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, you know, Michael Irvin era, the glory days, and all that kind of stuff. I'll be honest. I'm not. I mean, I grew up a Cowboys fan, as most San Antonio people kind of adopt. I always tell people this when I meet people. Like, I'm out in Cali, right? So of course I meet people from LA and different places, and you know, you walk into my office, I got the Cowboys flag, the Longhorns, I got all the Spurs, I got all my Texas stuff. So everyone knows I'm from Texas, bro. I let everybody know. And I always tell people this. I say, look, bro, I'm from San Antonio, dog. So I'm diehard Spurs fan, bro. You can't tell me nothing else about that. I went to UT, so I'm a Longhorns. The Cowboys, I'm a diehard fan, but I inherited them like most people in San Antonio have, right? Like, we just became Cowboys fans because that's what we had. If San Antonio had their own football team, I divert to that San Antonio team. I'll be honest. I'll rep that team. So, I mean, I love the Cowboys and I'm down for the Cowboys, but I'm not losing any sleep over these guys, bro. That's just me, dog. I'm not going to lose any sleep, especially when Jerry Jones is at the helm. It's expectation management. I already know. We know what Jerry's going to do. I don't know why we're surprised about any of this. You know, I think McCarthy coming back is just like neither here nor there. Like, it's not going to do anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
Doesn't move the needle.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When McCarthy came on, I was like, okay, I remember him with the Packers. Like, you know, the dude won a Super Bowl. Yeah. Like, it's great to have a Super Bowl winning coach, you know, on your roster. But he hasn't done anything, you know, out of the box, or he hasn't done anything spectacular. But again, it's also under Jerry Jones' thumb, bro. So it's kind of hard, man. Maybe he'll do better in another team with a GM and an owner that ain't Jerry. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Mike McCarthy is a casualty of the talent that he has to work with, much like the Spurs right now. You're a casualty of the talent that you have to work with, the tools that you have to work with.
Yeah.
And right now, the Cowboys, again, as the team is currently constructed, don't have it. They're not going to be able to really compete much more than what they've already shown what they can do.
Yeah, we know what they are.
Dak. If they had Dak, maybe they would have won 2 or 3 more games, but it wouldn't have been enough, at the end of the day. It's just you need some more pieces, man. And right now you just don't have the pieces that work. You don't have a running back. You don't have an RB1, a true RB1. And that's shown right now that you need that in today's NFL. You can't just be relying on pass, because you become one-dimensional, and teams know how to scheme for that. And that's what they've shown what they can do against the Cowboys when the Cowboys go up against other teams with better coaches. They show that they're one-dimensional, and they wind up getting their teeth knocked in.
If they wanted to be bold, man, they should have went after Derrick Henry. They should have went after Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Those moves with McCarthy would have been great. You see what I'm saying? Like, I agree. I don't think McCarthy's a bad coach. I just don't think, like you said, he only has what he works with.
Yeah,
it doesn't help that Jerry and all his antics. I don't know, man. So then it's like to say, like, I don't know what coach could come in here and like make a difference when all comes and goes through Jerry. You know what I mean? All comes and goes through Jerry, man. Like it's insane that he's the owner and the GM. Like that's actually like a conflict of interest. Like if you think about it, like in my opinion, because the GM is the football operations guy. The owner is the business guy. You know what I mean? So the owner, he's worried about business and merch and who's paying for stuff and all that kind of stuff. So Jerry looking at it and saying, you know what? I don't even have to put a winning team on the field, and we still are one of the most richest franchises. As a businessman, why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, as a businessman, and I'm not agreeing with his as the way he looks at it, but I'm saying, from a business standpoint, if I could save money and not go after Derrick Henry and still make a lot of money, then why wouldn't I do it? You see what I'm saying? That's where a GM is supposed to come in and say, whoa. I hear you, businessman, but I'm talking football operations, right? And we need, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's like in boxing, and we're going to talk boxing a little bit later. It's like a promoter and a manager, right? The boxer's manager, his interest is the fighter. The manager for a fighter is, hey, I want to protect my fighter. The promoter's interest is the event. You know what I mean? Like he's interested in the event. I don't give a damn about the fighter, but if I make money and I put asses in seats, that's what I'm worried about as a boxing promoter. The boxing manager is worried about the fighter. See what I'm saying? So those two kind of can clash at times, but that's where the negotiations happen. So that's why an owner and a GM can't be the same.
Exactly. So another thing we're going to talk about here, let's see what happens with the actual future of Mike McCarthy here with the Dallas Cowboys. But another thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and talk about NFL Wild Card Weekend. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and give some love to our good friends over here at MCS General Contracting. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leja over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show. Yeah, so if you want to get that diamond hard concrete in your life, go ahead and call Chris Leja at 210-774-9155 for all your contracting needs. He can go ahead and help and get a parking lot if you need that for your business. If you need a basketball court or a landing like they did out there for Mike at his home, make sure you go ahead and call Christopher Leja. Again, the number is 210-774-9155. And the chat that you boys are using today is also powered by MCS General Contracting. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about NFL Wild Card Weekend. So we have the schedules that are coming out here. And this is the one thing that I do like about CBS Sports. When they show you the schedule, they also show you where you can go ahead and watch the game. So
Yeah.
first on the docket for coming up on Saturday, you're going to have the number 5 Chargers at the number going against the number 4 Texans. That game
Beating
is
them. You're predicting it.
I'm already predicting it, man.
Yeah.
I don't think the Texans are going to beat the Chargers, man. But the game's going to tip off at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 our time. You can watch it on the CBS network and also on Paramount Plus. Steelers and the Ravens. This one's an interesting one for me because, believe it or not, I have the Steelers upsetting the Ravens. I don't believe the Ravens got enough to get it done. Steelers are just a different animal, man. And the game's going to tip off at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. That one is going to be the marquee game of the night. And you can only watch it if you have Prime Video. So you have to be a subscriber to Amazon Prime Video. Now we got our other games that are happening on Sunday. You got the Broncos at Bills at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Packers at Eagles, 4:30 p.m. tip-off. This one you can watch it on Fox. And the evening game, the night game, Commanders at Bucks. And that's going to tip off at 7 p.m. East or 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. our time. And then you got the Monday game here. And this one is showing that you have the Vikings versus the Rams in Arizona, 7 p.m. tip-off right there.
Wow,
So
they're already showing Arizona.
Yeah, so you already have the Lions and Chiefs, they're that are on buys right now. So
Man, and this is a great. There's football from yesterday was Thursday all the way till Monday. The between the college games Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday, 2 games, Sunday 3 games, Monday. Man, this is amazing, right? This is a great football weekend. Man, it's intense. It's gonna be an intense weekend of games. Yeah. There's got to be some upsets, like you said. You always gotta. Mike Tomlin always has his Steelers ready, so I wouldn't mind seeing that upset. I don't know if I'm as bold as you to pick that one, but I appreciate that.
I'm calling it right now, money line, man. You want to go?
I like it. Yeah.
Steelers upsetting the Ravens, money line.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I've called some predictions already. My brother-in-law, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. He likes to go ahead and play some bets. And I told him last week, man, I said, one of the bets I told him to go ahead and place was the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bengals to win. What happened? Bengals win. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I told you, man. I said, you should have put some money on the game. He was writing it down and he forgot, dude. So he would have won some cash on that, dude. But, I still go ahead and predict that Steelers are going to upset the Ravens. I think the Bucks are going to best the Commanders. Commanders ain't got no business there. When it comes to the Packers and Eagles, I think the Packers are going to best the Eagles. Broncos and Bills, man. I think the Bills are going to have a tight race here, but they're going to do it in the end. They're going to do enough to go ahead and get past the Broncos. So those are my predictions. What do you got? Who do you got winning?
I got Chargers. I think I'm going to stick with the Ravens, man. I don't know, man. I would like to see that upset. Bills. God, I would like Packers, like you said, man. Packers, they have a knack for coming into your home and upsetting you like they did the Cowboys last year. So I'll take that one. Definitely Bucks.
What about the Vikings?
You know what, man? The Vikings and Rams, that's an interesting one because the Vikings did not show up, man, that last game, right? The Vikings are like, you know what I mean? They're a little sus. Man. And I don't know, man. You got the Rams. You got maybe they're a little motivated by what's going on in LA. You know what I mean? Emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I think the Rams might be able to get that one. But it's gonna be a great night of a good weekend of football, man.
Look at Jesse A. Joe doesn't want to see the Eagles advance. No, man, I'm just saying. I think the Packers, honestly, are one of these sneaky teams that can come in and they can beat you on your own home, in your own field, dude. And they got a knack for doing that, like Rick said. So that's why I'm picking the Packers over the Eagles. The Eagles are all right, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to beat a Packers team, man. I think the Packers are going to be able to beat the Eagles and send them packing. Same thing, could happen also with the Vikings, dude. It'd be a big upset if the Rams could go ahead and best the Vikings and send them packing.
Yeah. Vikings. I mean, don't let that 5 seed fool you. I mean, it was that crazy, game against, the Lions where the winner was going to be a number 1 bye team and the loser was going to be a 5. So it all came down to that. The Vikings are a tough team. that's my bold prediction, I guess, is take the Rams over the Vikings. Like I said, maybe Rams are buoyed a little bit by what's going on in LA. Maybe they dig down and get some emotional strength or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But yeah, man, it's fun, man. It's exciting. It's exciting to see all this football. And what I love about it is it's time with my sons, man. It's just like family, like all of us that have older kids or whatever loved ones that you watch the games with, man. And that's why people always are like, man, you're like so crazy about sports. Like, I don't know why you're like that, bro. It's memories. It's I'm gonna order some wings. We're gonna chill with my boys. Like, those are memories, man. That are like live on forever. One day I'm gonna be in the ground, man, and my boys, or hopefully are with their sons.
Keep the tradition to life.
Yeah, exactly. And they look back and say, oh man, I used to do this with my pops, and now, they do it. So that's why I love sports, man, because it brings loved ones together, right? Families and sons and fathers, sons and daughters, whoever you love and get to watch the games with, man, like it's a blessing.
One thing that we're going to do too, because we're speaking about traditions. And one of the things that I like watching is I like watching UFC and I like watching boxing with my boys too.
Boxing, baby, yeah.
Right? So my son, my oldest, he loves watching UFC and boxing with his pops, right? With me.
Yeah.
So now he brings his younger brother, which is the youngest out of the three, right? To come in now, and he makes him sit here. And now he's starting to get into watching the boxing and the UFC with him as well. So it's becoming a tradition. I'm in here watching fighting with my boys on the weekend, right? So we got some fights coming up.
Speaking of boxing, this is kind of like a down time for boxing. December, January, it starts to slow down a little bit. But yeah, we got some fights coming up.
So look at that. First on the docket, man. Saturday coming up on the 11th here, 4 p.m. tip, I believe. It's going to be our time because it's Chicago time. Simpson Woodall. And this one is one of the fights that people will be like, man, it's all right. It's no big deal. I'm not going to watch. You got to watch these fights, man, because you got to watch the talent that's in here. You got to keep an eye on it. Up and comers, bro. Super middleweight championship. These are some big boys, dude. They're going to be going at it, And then you have coming up here on the 18th, Rick, you already know too, Till Taylor. That's going to be on the Zone. And the Simpson Woodall fight, you can watch that one on the Peacock Network as well as Sky Sports.
Yeah.
But this is the big one, man. This is the one that everybody's waiting for in the month of January here. January the 24th. It's your boy, man. Anyway.
The Monster.
Versus Goodman.
The Monster, baby. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. If you haven't seen Naoya Inoue fight the Monster, you got to watch him. The dude is
he's legit,
man. Oh, my God. And it's crazy, though, just because he fights in Japan, and it's hard to see him sometimes. But he's amazing, man. The dude has no wasted movement. You know what I mean? Like, and he has like boxing IQ, and then the power is just something else. And I mean, he's small, right? He's a small dude, man, 118 pounds and all that. But the dude can bring some power, right? And Goodman is not a slouch. He's undefeated. He's a solid fighter. I mean, so it's tough to find tough competition in those lower weight classes. But yeah, do yourself a favor, man. If you ever get to see a Naoya Inoue fight, man, the dude is a beast. I'm telling you, if he was American and like 40 pounds heavier, he'd be Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? He'd be the biggest star you ever heard of, So yeah, man, I love that we get to talk boxing on here. Mario Cavazos actually was asking about bringing on Gabriel Elizondo and Gilbert Elizondo, who are former amateur standouts in San Antonio, and he kind of hooked up with them, and they're down to like come get on our podcast and talk some boxing, which I think that would be really cool. We got to set that up.
Or we got to do it at a time when you're in town too.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be a cool in studio thing, to bring those guys over, and San Antonio boxing, like I said in the 90s, Gabriel Elizondo, man, if you don't know who he is, man, the dude was a huge star in the amateur boxing in the 90s in San Antonio. The kid was amazing. He went to the Olympic trials in 2000, lost in the Olympic trials to make the Olympic team. But again, man, just to get to that level shows you. So he's a West Side kid, man. South Side, he's been around. Like, hearing him and his brother's stories about the gym wars and all that would be cool. So
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. San Antonio's back in a resurgence of boxing, bro. You want to talk about Bam Rodriguez. You want to talk about Mario Barrios. San Antonio is back in when it comes to the boxing scene.
Yeah. We also got to give some love, man, to the great George Foreman, man. It's his birthday today. He's
Yeah.
76 years young today, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And look
Bro,
at this,
this
man.
Michael
Look at this
Moore,
guy,
bro.
dude.
1994,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
He did this 20 plus years after he had already said, I call it quit.
Bro,
He won the championship, heavyweight championship. Of the
bro.
ring.
You know what? If you haven't seen so you could go on YouTube and watch. They're called Legendary Nights. They're like 30-minute little documentaries, and it's really cool because Jim Lampley kind of hosts them, and one of them is about the Moore Holyfield, or I'm sorry, the Moore Foreman, and it's just like a 30-minute little documentary, and it kind of goes about they're really cool. If you love boxing, please go watch Legendary Nights. There's a handful of them. There's like Chavez Melchie Taylor. There's Chavez, or I'm sorry, De La Hoya Trinidad. And it's just like a quick little 30-minute documentary about the fights. But Moore Foreman was one of them. Man, Foreman, bro, you got to think about that. That was 94. He was like what 40 something years old.
40 something, dude.
Bro, Moore was a beast. Moore was a beast. He was the first left-handed heavyweight champion. He won the cruiserweight championship, and then he went up to heavyweight. He beat Evander Holyfield for that heavyweight belt, trained by Teddy Atlas. And when he fought Foreman, it was like, this is just a name to put on your record. And Moore was winning every round. Moore was literally up 10-0 in the fight, and then bam, one right hand, baby, one right hand by Big George, and it was done.
I mean, what a way to come back, right?
Yeah,
make a statement, man. I mean, that initially right there, that's what really got the George Foreman. After he did that, he was out there in the public eye and whatnot, and what happened? George Foreman, man, you had one in your home, back in the 90s, early 2000s. That's what it was all about. I mean, George was doing it in the ring and outside the ring. He's a savvy businessman, man. So
man. Yeah, for sure, bro. And then so a couple of the fights that you talked about, again, man, hardcore fans will watch those, the Inoues and those different fights, but if you want to talk about a big fight, that's February 1st. That's David Benavidez and David Morrell. That's going to be a big fight, big light heavyweight fight. The undercard is good. You got Pitbull Cruz on the undercard, a couple of other folks. So that's going to be a big one. I love Mexican Junior always gets hyped when we start talking boxing, and I love it. He talked about the De La Hoya Trinidad when, I remember that. Oscar's like, I thought I gave him a boxing lesson. And he had like the glitter from there's a bunch of like glitter that came down after the fight. I never forget that Trinidad De La Hoya. De La Hoya was giving him a boxing lesson. He was boxing beautifully. First 6-7 rounds, it was all De La Hoya. And then, man, he made the cardinal error of thinking I had it in the bag and I'm just going to coast the next 4 rounds.
Look at Junior. The one with De La Hoya, Trinidad.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Exactly what he's talking about right here, dude.
Yeah. No, man. If you ever watch those Legendary Nights, they're amazing, man. But that was probably De La Hoya's biggest, and it's crazy because up until then he was known as a closer. Like if you watch the Ike Corte fight when De La Hoya fought Ike Corte, bro, De La Hoya was in a life or death struggle with Ike Corte. This is 1999 February. Yeah. And then in the 12th round, he showed up. He came in, he's dropped him in the 12th round, and he was always known to be a closer. John Molina, early 90s, maybe 1992. So it was a tough fight for De La Hoya. It was one of his earlier fights. Molina was a veteran, and De La Hoya came in the 12th round and closed the show. So he was always known as a closer. So it was odd that he took that route against Trinidad where he thought he had the fight won and he thought he wouldn't ever lose a decision in Vegas. And he decided to like coast the last 4 rounds and give him up basically. So
look at Sam Salinas. Shout out to the old HBO boxing commentators. Lampley, Larry Merchant, Drunker as the night went on. Stewart, rest in peace, and Harold Lederman.
Yeah, bro. There's nothing like 90s HBO boxing. Like literally, bro. And I love that Sam Salinas said that because he's right. Larry Merchant, bro, Lampley, It don't get any better than that, bro. And I love Harold Letterman. Harold Letterman always gave his scorecards, and I learned about scoring watching Harold Letterman talk about scoring.
Yeah.
He always was pretty right on when it came to scoring the fights, and
yeah,
he talked about, there's 4 criteria when it comes to scoring. It's effective aggressiveness, defense, ring generalship, and punches landed. So a lot of people just watch a fight and they think like, oh well, one guy's throwing a bunch of punches so he's winning, but there's criteria when it comes to scoring fights, and Harold Letterman was always good about articulating that. So defense does count, ring generalship, aka knowing where you're at in the ring and making your opponent go where they need to go. So it's not just about how many punches you threw and how many punches you landed. See, that's what people don't understand when it comes to boxing. Like, it's not just like, oh, this guy threw a bunch of punches, whatever. There's a lot of different criteria when it comes to scoring, when it's defense, it's all that stuff. So it's nuanced.
Look at Sam Salinas. He used to love how Larry Merchant was obviously hard drinking through the night, but by the main event, bro was wasted, but still on point.
I'll never forget that Larry Merchant and Floyd interaction when he was like, man, HBO need to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. And Larry Merchant was like, classic. If I was 30 years younger, I would kick your ass. Like that, bro. You can't. That's live TV. Like, you can't make that up, bro.
Hey, this is another thing I was gonna show, man. Look at what DAZN was putting out here on the X.
Yeah.
They're handing out the Ring Awards, right?
Yeah.
Do this. So the Ring Awards, Male Fighter of the Year nominees, and they got some good nominees here.
Yeah.
They have Usyk. I don't know how to say Beteriv. Okay.
Oh, Beterbiev. Yeah. That's the guy that beat Bivol.
Yeah. And they also have San Antonio's own.
San Antonio's own, baby. Bam Rodriguez. Hey, I think Usyk will probably win, but man, San Antonio's own Bam has to make a statement, bro. Like, that dude has done amazing things in boxing. But yeah, I love that the Ring Awards have Bam in the mix. They have his trainer Robert Garcia as one of the candidates for Trainer of the Year. Robert Garcia does a lot of training with San Antonio fighters. He's out of Oxnard. I mean, Robert Garcia, but for the fans maybe that don't know him, the dude was with Fernando Vargas back in the day and all that kind of stuff. His dad was Fernando Vargas' trainer, and Robert Garcia is one of the top trainers out of Oxnard. But he comes to San Antonio, and he has a lot of fighters out of San Antonio. So,
hey, man, shout out to Usyk, dude, because his brother's back in the gym already training, dude.
Dude's a monster, bro. Dude's a beast, bro. Dude's a beast.
Like, damn. Yeah. He just took like a couple weeks off and said, nah, but I'm good, man. Let's get back in the gym, back at it already, dude. Respect to that brother, dude. He's not taking him being a champion, for nothing, dude. He's back at work.
Nah, bro. Usyk is those guys, those like Russian guys. They're cut from those guys are cut from a different cloud, bro. So actually, and Beterbiev is also gonna fight Bivol again in March.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a good fight, man. But yeah, man, boxing's gonna pick up again. In February, March.
Man. From Ring Magazine, dude, they put the IBF has now officially granted Vasil Lomachenko a medical exemption, which will allow him to retain his IBF lightweight world title. And they have also ordered, I don't know how to say this brother's name, Abuldev versus Muratalla. It says for the IBF interim belt, and Loma must fight the winner by October the 8th. All right.
Wow. Hey, man, there's a lot of fights on the horizon, bro. You want to talk? Lomachenko's another one, bro. That guy is a beast. He's a monster. His training regimens are ridiculous. He was like 396-1 as an amateur, which is crazy, bro. Like, that is insane, bro. Like, almost 400 wins and 1 loss as an amateur, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Like, that's ridiculous.
And look at this too, man. On the X again. They're giving some love to the ladies too, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ring Awards, Female Fighter of the Year nominees. You got Taylor, Shields, Serrano, Mayer, Estrada, and Fundora.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, bro. The ladies brought it this year. If you didn't see some of those women fights this year, Katie Taylor and Serrano, those were fucking wars, bro. The ladies were bringing it, man. Clarissa Shields actually is gonna fight again soon. She's out of Detroit, and man, bro, the ladies are bringing it. The ladies boxing isn't like, oh, it's just like a sideshow or something. Nah. Nah, man, these ladies bring it and they fight, bro. They go to war. So good on them.
You know, even when you're watching that, you know, Paul Tyson fight, hey, the ladies brought it in that fight. That
was the ladies stole the show. Amanda Serrano. Yeah, Amanda Serrano. Like, the ladies stole the show that night. Like, you had Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. It was a war, bro. Yeah. So the one thing I will say about that Paul Tyson was, they at least put good fights on the undercard.
Yeah, there were good fights on the undercard. The main event was a shit show, but everything else that was good. If you could watch it, that's the problem that everybody was having watching that fight. But we also got this to talk about too, you know, via Ring Magazine. Sebastian Fundora and Spence reportedly now has a target date of March the 29th in Las Vegas.
That'd be a good fight, bro. You know what, man? So Fundora, if you never seen Fundora, obviously you can see from this picture, he's a tall fighter. And you don't usually have fighters that tall. You know what I mean? So they call him the Towering Inferno. You know, the dude is huge. And Spence, you know, fighting him would be great, you know, after the Crawford and all that. That'd be a great fight, man. I'm telling you, man, that'd be a good fight. Fundora beat Tim Tszyu to take that belt. Man, like I said, boxing has always been, it's going to die. And, you know, and I'm not a UFC guy. Don't get me, and I have no hate on UFC. And I know, you know, Joe, you like to see those UFC, and that's cool. Yeah. But boxing, man, it's just so classic, and it's always going to be around. And
I'm a fan
I think UFC and boxing can both coexist. You know what I mean? I think UFC made boxing step up their game, right? Because UFC came on the scene. They were the new kid on the block. They started, you know, promoting pretty heavy, which made boxing kind of step up their game. So I don't mind that, you know.
The other thing I do watch, because I like watching combat sports, I watch Bare Knuckle Championship, and I've been watching that since its inception, right? The other thing I watch on Friday mornings, man, there's kickboxing. One Championship streams all their fights live on Facebook. Man, these little dudes flying around the ring, dude. They going at it.
Muay Thai, bro. Muay Thai, dog. Yeah.
I like watching that shit too, man. I get up for that as well. Like, I'll even watch the replays while I'm at work.
Yeah.
And I'll be working. If it slows down, I'll put the tablet right here, and I'm watching the replay of the fight, and I'm like, man, these little brothers going at it, dude. That kickboxing, something else. But we do have some news here on the UFC front as well. UFC 311 is going to be coming back here January the 18th on a Saturday. You can go ahead and check that out. Main card is going to start at 9 p.m. Of course, the prelims start early at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Going to have a decent card here. Go ahead and check this out as well. If you're a UFC fan, like I am, I know I'll be watching, but I'll also be watching boxing. I'll be watching everything, man. You know how it is when you come over here to the studio.
Oh, bro,
we're watching everything.
Listen, let me tell some of these, you know, the people in the chat or whoever's listening, bro. If you haven't seen Joe's setup, bro, like if you want an experience, bro, you can watch like 5 different things in Joe's setup. Like the way he has it set up, bro, with different TVs and different monitors, you literally can go and be like, here's the game, here's the UFC, here's the boxing, here's whatever. Like, bro, like your setup is fucking legendary, dog.
Yeah, we watch everything. And man, we even got like graphics on the back behind you as well, you know. Got to set the mood with the lighting and everything, bro. So we do it right, you know. We're gonna actually, when you come back again, when the weather gets a little better, we're gonna have to have you and Chicana Fuerte maybe round up the kids if she has them as well. Come over. They come over and they can see Theo Joe, you know.
Oh yeah,
do something in the backyard again, you know. That'd be cool. Be watching a fight or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, bro. Oh man, the backyard is amazing, bro. You got the pool going, you got all your stuff going, bro. Like, we're definitely down, man. I appreciate, you know, you always having us over.
Yeah,
you know, all that.
Bro.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and bring the show to an end because I had to get back to work here. But before we do, man, where can they follow you on the X, Rick?
Hey, at Reels Fernandez, give me a follow. I appreciate you guys. I'll always follow back. You know, again, man, I'm humbled to be on here, man. I think
there you are, right there.
There am I. Yep. Check out my pin tweet if you want to see something funny. You know, my pin tweet is my son and Kawhi Leonard engagement. But if you want to know what I think about Kawhi Leonard, bro, look at my pin tweet, bro. That's all I gotta say, bro. that pin tweet, man, that thing went viral, bro. That thing was something.
1.5K right now.
Oh yeah, that thing was crazy. I got death threats, bro. I literally got death threats from that pin tweet. And that's me and my sons. Yep, that was us last night watching the 2013 championship, bro. We were talking about it again, me and my boys. Man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to have, sons and
I like this setup right here, dude.
That's it right there. That's the setup, bro. Yep, you already know. So
yeah, man. I'm gonna go visit you. I gotta go visit you one time.
Come out, bro. You gotta come out to San Diego, man. I tell people, Johnny Rotten, a couple of other Jimenez came out here. Like if San Diego's my second home, bro. I've been out here in SoCal for about 10 years. So I always tell people, man, if you come out to SoCal, if you come out to San Diego, man, by all means hit me up and I got you. I'll take you to the spots. I'll take you everywhere you need to go. I'll take you to the Marine Corps base. Like, please, if you come to SoCal, if you come to San Diego, man, reach out to me.
I want to go back home, dude. I want to go back home. I haven't been.
Oh yeah. You've been, you came up at Oceanside.
Yeah. Like my uncle was a Marine, dude, and we used to go to Oceanside all the time when I was a kid. Good fond memories of Oceanside out there on the beach. He used to rent those little cabanas and out there.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, bro. Come out here, bro. I got the cabanas. I got all that on lock, bro. Like I always tell people, bro, come to San Diego, come to Cali. I got you. We'll do the cabanas on the beach. We'll chill. We'll drink. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, man, SoCal, San Diego's been great to me. It's been my family and I, my second home. So, by all means, man, come out here to Cali and San Diego, man. And I gotta
go back to LA too, man. I gotta go visit Pink's, Randy's.
Yeah. Oh, bro, Pink's hot dogs. Oh my god, bro. Pink's hot dogs in LA is the move, bro. I don't ever go to LA without hitting up Pink's hot dogs. Like that's the move.
Yeah. If you know.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I got to go back and go to LA and walk those streets, man, and get some of that good comida they have out there, también, dude.
Yeah.
That little area that's like all Latino, puro Mexicano. So we got to go visit the roots, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
Mike is so in, and Fernandez is very
I love it.
TJ calls
Hey, bro. Hey, we could go to TJ, bro. Listen, bro. Every week I get my haircut in Chula Vista, which is a stone throw away from TJ, dog. Trust me, bro. We could go to TJ, Sam. Don't get it twisted, baby. Yeah. Man, I love that. I love that Ornales. Mike is so hands Fernandez there.
All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and bow out here. We'll see you boys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Everybody stay safe. Keep it puro. We're out. Remember, go ahead and like that area 210, man. We'll see you on Monday.
Yep. Stay puro. Hook 'em horns.